Hey everyone, AI Fellas, episode 3.
Episode 3.
We're getting right into it, Justin. We've got whistleblowers, copyright information to talk about, and robotics.
Some big stuff happening.
Two middle-aged dudes with a mission in mind, trying to crack the code and not get left behind. They've seen floppy disks and dial-up tones. Now they're prompting AI from their podcast zones. AI fellas, yeah, teaching robots how to think and feel. AI fellas, whoa, helping keep it real. AI fellas.
All right, so let's get right into it. The whistleblower testimony from the Meta. Did you hear about that?
Sarah Wynne Williams.
Sarah Wynne Williams. The interesting part was this, and I just saw this a couple of weeks ago, actually last month. Meta whistleblower Sarah Wynne Williams told senators in testimony Wednesday on Capitol at that time that social media company worked hand in glove with the Chinese government to censor its platforms. Among other allegations, in March, Williams published a memoir called Careless People.
Yeah, no, the thing that's interesting to me with that kind of stuff is that it's kind of lame that it's coinciding with a book release, because it's like, is she trying to make sensational headlines to sell her book? How much of it is really happening? Because it's, of course, those guys are saying Meta is like, no way. So
Sure.
where is the truth in this? I haven't read the book yet, but I'm actually very interested in reading it. I don't hesitate for a minute to think that that's true, because the Chinese market is a huge market for Meta, and they've been trying to get into the Chinese market for a long time. But the Chinese market has very strict regulations on what they can say and cannot say.
Yes.
So inadvertently building this algorithm for China, which they've been trying to do, because
Right.
that's a huge market for them,
Right.
they may have given them, what is it, LLaMA?
Yeah.
LLaMA is the Meta AI, open source, what she's claiming, or what they're leading people to believe, is that LLaMA was a lot of basis for DeepSeek.
Yeah.
So
Well, let's take a step back. Do you really think so? Do you really? I mean, in this race, I think there's going to be fault, right? And in the race to AI, geez, I mean, as I digged further into this, I noticed that there was other issues, even with OpenAI. Another whistleblower, a little bit back in December or late 2024, another whistleblower came out saying that OpenAI was using copyrighted material. I guess where I'm leading to is everyone copying everyone in this pace? Is it to outpace each other? Is China copying and working hand in hand? Is that could possibly be true? And is OpenAI using copyrighted material at one time and now trying to justify, saying deregulate through the Trump administration? I mean, there seems to be connections, but there's not. I mean, that's what I'm reading. I'm reading these headlines coming at me going, where's the connection in all this?
Yeah.
Have you been seeing that as well?
Well, there's a couple of things in my mind that's happening. There's a couple of things, because first of all, you have to look at the copyright piece of it.
Right.
Because if you write a book, if you take a photo, if you make a movie, you can get a copyright on that. So no one can copy that for whatever amount of time.
Right.
And from my understanding, AI and these large language models have literally crawled as much information as possible without any kind of there was no regulation in place saying that a large language model cannot copy this stuff.
Yeah.
But it is copywritten material, but they're not, the way it's coming back to us isn't necessarily copywritten.
Correct.
So it's an interesting gray area. And just like all filmmakers and all artists, they're all inspired by the people that have come before, and we're sort of building off of that. And if you look at it that way, are the large language models actually writing Stephen King books, or are they inspired by Stephen King? And that's a really thick, muddy gray area. The way that they gathered that material was certainly not kosher, nice, or it was very much as a need to make the model work.
Yeah.
And you can't. I mean, you could just go in and burn all the servers, but there's no way to get it out of there now. I mean, it's all in there.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? These people Now they should have regulated it 20 years ago, but they had no idea that this was even going to be a thing. I mean, they probably did, but they didn't.
I mean, that's how we've grown over civilization has grown, is copying from previous. And I mean, if you dig back into just the whole aspect of the growth, that we're creating something through this AI, through previous data. Now we're using all of this data to create and innovate and create and innovate.
Yeah.
And there's no stopping it, apparently, because there's all over the world, everyone's racing to create something. Robotics, it's one thing that we talked about. And
well, I think what's interesting about all of this AI talk, it's all very technical. What are the technical, what are the legal aspects? What are that, like, how do you energize these things? How do you regulate these things? But what it always comes back to is an existential problem.
Yeah, it's new. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's how I'm because as I'm reading this, it's so new. It's like Wild Wild West, this AI concept, right? So everyone's trying to produce or outpace each other.
Yeah.
And at the same time, where is the real regulation in this? I don't think there's real regulation where they say, okay, copyrighted material, you can't, because that's existed already.
Right.
But beyond that, all of the innovations that they're using AI for, I don't see the real regulation behind that just yet. And not that we're here to talk about that overall, but the idea is that it's moving at such a fast pace. How can they keep up with it?
Purposely, I think they're trying to. It's a race,
right?
It's who's going to come to this first, because it's just like the nuclear arms race, and they're saying it's even worse than a nuclear arms race, because China or Russia or whoever are militarizing AI and we've already militarized
That's
AI.
scary, by the way.
Unmanned drones that can think on their own, can decide on their own, and they don't have the human veil. If they see a target and it matches their parameters, they're just going to execute no matter what. And furthermore, they're working on an artificial, and it's probably already here. We just don't know it yet. But there are battle commanders that are artificial intelligent commanders that will be controlling battlefields, making decisions on a level of commander level.
Yes.
So they're okay. I have a group of drones. I have a group of those robot dogs.
Yeah.
I can send the dogs here. And
I've seen all of that. I've seen those
Yeah.
robotic dogs. I mean, Kawasaki was making something.
But then they're not even controlled by humans. They're controlled by an AI, and it's just like we have the more clever.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go and say it's unfortunate. As clever as all this sounds, and exciting as it sounds, and it's clever. And listen, I think we're at the brink here.
Right.
We're at a brink here. If we're this close to creating all this and using it, one of our adversaries using it militarily, that's it's not a calming.
With no cost to human life, you just send in a robot, and
it's very unfortunate, and that's where
terrorist organizations using robots to go in and do things. It's really kind of scary.
Yeah, and that's that's the unfortunate part, that there's a sinister side to it, and I hope that. Well, for the sake of all of us, right, that they minimize that or regulate it as much as possible,
regulation,
as fast as possible, because it's not
worldwide.
Yes, it's worldwide. It's not just here. It's worldwide. It's everyone, especially China, is trying to go as fast as possible, which we led in with the DeepSeek, right? With the whole idea. How did that all of a sudden do it? How did they do it cheaper? How did they do it faster? That's
they're building off of.
the future of robotics, because we talked about this. This was one of the things that really was mind-blowing. The future of robotics just got under our skin, literally. Now, this was reporting out of AI Publishing in New York. University of Tokyo. Researchers have created living skin for humanoid robots that can smile, stretch, and even heal itself. It's really scary. Okay, the idea that it's already been created, and again, it's happening overseas. Where's the regulation around that? And
I always think of
what's the fascination? What's the idea of building that? I mean,
well, the
give me some reasons. Come on, give me some reasons.
Exactly. What are the reasons? I think when you look at, I always go back to Jurassic Park, and it was the guy that. Who played Malcolm?
You know,
Come on, Jeff Goldblum.
Oh yeah,
Jeff Goldblum's character said, you know,
Yes.
the scientists can do it, but they never stop and think if they should. Like, why are we doing this? What is the purpose? You know, a more realistic artificial intelligent robot that has more of a humanistic character. You can relate easier. Maybe it's a therapist robot. Maybe it's a doctor robot. I don't know.
I'm trying to.
But we recently went to the Sphere in Las Vegas, and they had a couple of AI robotic machines there. They're very like crude, but the facial expressions were very like, not real, not very real.
But that's what they have now in 2025.
Yeah, and it's more like a gimmick. It's not like it is listening to you and it will spit back information, but there's a person there that's like helping it.
Spit back information. I'm hearing that AI is going to be able to counsel you on a regular basis.
Yeah,
and tell you
it is more
how
advanced.
to conduct your life. Yeah. If you're having trouble, just ask AI. It'll tell you how to conduct your day.
It's very true.
It'll schedule your day. I mean, it's incredible. Now, these are efficient tools, right? It makes you more efficient.
Well, that's
the exciting part. If you're into organization, time management, that's the exciting part. But the robotics,
robotics is weird. But still, it's still not perfect. I mean, a large language model, it is not. They're calling it artificial intelligence, but it's not intelligence. It's just correlating words to other words.
Oh yes.
So if you say barn, it's going to pull up red, and farm and cow and chicken. It's not necessarily understanding that a barn would contain farm animals and it's on a farm.
Yes.
So it's kind of a parlor. It's kind of like a really incredible parlor trick with the correlation thing, and until they can get machines to actually understand how to think and how to understand what those correlations mean. I think that's still far enough away.
Far enough away. Are you sure?
We're in the stage of like,
I thought when
when
I watched The Terminator, I thought when I saw that, I was like, wow. Now, could this possibly happen in the future?
Of course.
Why would we want to create and annihilate our own selves?
Well, maybe we didn't. Maybe we wanted to.
Or did it happen accidentally?
It could have become self-aware.
A mind of its own, and someone forgot to unplug it.
What's better for the Earth is that we just destroy all the humans.
No, not funny. But
that's what it is.
At some point,
Skynet could be, DeepSeek in the future. It's like we got to get
awful.
Whatever.
Awful. It's awful to think about that. Come on, it's awful.
Just like there hasn't been a nuclear Armageddon, I think they're going to probably regulate it. There's going to be enough smart people in the world to convince enough crazy people.
A board of elites that are going to say,
yeah, because in reality,
and they should know better. I mean, whether you have a lot of money or not, or a lot of power or not, this can outtake all of that very quickly, and the human civilization, and then tell us what to do.
But if we can,
it's going to reverse the order of things. No, I say to that.
I know the regulation is going to be very key to this whole thing.
I think so.
But I think in militarization of AI, if we can save human lives, if we can replace pilots with a computer,
absolutely.
I mean, come on.
That's where the fantastic part of this technology is. And for example, in healthcare, it can tell you if you're aging faster, what can you do, what's your diet. I mean, do you have this? Do you have that? Possibly cancer. I mean, a cure for it. These are the accelerations on the healthcare part that is extremely exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But then to create a whole robotic civilization of skin healing, self-thinking robotics to do what? To go in and put a fire out for us? Thanks a lot. We appreciate that. But are you going to turn on us now and have a mind of your own? Can we unplug that if we created it? That's the key thing. If you can't unplug it,
absolutely.
It's just not where I don't see that as a great innovation. I see it as something that's going to
getting too human-like.
Too human-like.
I think
we have been at the top of the food chain for how long?
I don't know.
Quite a while.
Thousands of years.
Right? So now we're creating something, and what? An image of what? It looks like us, it dances like us, it moves like us. Can it maybe think good and bad? Yes, right?
Yeah, no, I think that those questions are are again philosophical and existential problems that we're just like, what are we creating? Where are we going towards? What does it mean to be
Yeah,
human?
but I think it's important to talk about these
It's
things.
important to talk
I mean,
about
if everyday people are just walking around naively, and because all I'm reading about is AI is going to take over your job.
Yeah.
Just as plain general statements.
So what is our job now?
Yeah, well, our job is to work with the tools,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, use the tools.
Use the tools, become more efficient. And we talked in healthcare and financial services. You can plan faster. You can build models faster, more efficient,
You can see if a business will survive
quicker, right?
quicker. You
Based
can
on
put it all in like, will this
boom,
business
boom.
work?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no. Okay. I'm going to try something different.
But yeah, and what do we relied on? We relied on historical data.
Historical data.
Historical data.
That's the key point to this whole thing. Like, the human race has created all of this information.
All of this data.
So AI is very much human anyway.
Copyrighted and non-copyrighted, right? Text.
Right.
So
Well, you know what's interesting too is that the language models learn from the input that we give that. So we're part of the product. But there's such a thing called, and you probably know this, AI hallucination.
yes.
So you say, coffee tastes like bananas.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, if enough people say this, it's going to suddenly hallucinate and say to everybody, coffee tastes like bananas. So there's this weird thing that they're trying to solve and trying to regulate is this AI hallucination where false information can come through these large language models.
Yes.
Because of the people inputting can purposely want to mislead it or not purposely mislead it, just do it because of their own knowledge base is not correct.
Right. Well, biased, right?
bias,
you have to be
yeah.
careful with the bias part of it. And that's where, again, even
And you can see, like, if you're talking about, I had an argument with a friend, and you start putting in your side, it doesn't have the other side of the equation. So suddenly, it's giving you
input, output, right?
Yes,
Input,
yeah.
output. What are you
So
putting in it, right? Exactly.
The hallucination part of this is a weird issue, also.
Well, they're working through those techs. They're working through all these kinks, but they're going awfully
From
fast.
what angle are they fixing them, though? Are they fixing it to make money? Are they fixing it because now the ad space for this stuff is amazing? Let's just say I need to lose weight. Then suddenly, whoever is paid money to these large language models, their product's going to come up more relevant than other things. So
Sure.
you're this whole capitalistic piece of it. So this AI stuff isn't like, people should be also aware that this isn't just a tool for the good of mankind. This is also a tool to make money.
Well, money's at the
This is a tool
root.
for military. This is a tool for countries. This is an arms race.
Yeah.
This is a marketing race.
Money seems to be at the root of mostly all we do.
Oh yeah.
So
Money and power.
Our money and power. So it's
Yeah.
it's one of those things that I keep reading about this over and over again, and week after week, the amount of information that's coming at us with all of the different enhancements that they're doing with the graphics, the robotics. They have something now. I wish I can just, as I'm reading these things, but they have some facial recognition things that could tell you. I was just mentioning this before, your age, and then based on your age, your biological age, it'll tell you, where you're at, and unfortunately give you a prediction of when you may demise.
Oh, nice. That's what I want to see.
How would you like to look at that?
Well, maybe it'll help you figure out what vitamins and supplements you need to be taking.
Imagine walking up to that demise, dude, the same day or
You'll
something.
be dead tomorrow.
It's just,
You look like shit.
You're terrible. Come on, lose some weight. Boop.
You're done for, pal.
But you know what? It seems like some futuristic thing is right here, right? You could step up to it, look at it. It'll tell you how much you weigh, what you possibly may be eating, not eating. It'll get you look at your retina, your eye, blah, 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 and go on it. And statistics say, you should be at this. This is.
But then that becomes a tool for
is-
the insurance companies to charge more money.
Here we go.
Money.
We're back to that. What happened to the doctor, though?
There is no doctor. Well, you know what's interesting? The last time we got together, we talked about, there was one topic we talked about saying that the AI will be at your next doctor's visit.
Yes.
And I literally went in like a week later, and she's like, I need to take notes. Do you mind if I record it? I have an AI program that's going to give me a summary of our thing. And it's like literally the next time I went in, the doctor had this app that recorded our conversation and then spit out a summary at the end.
A summary and a synopsis of some sorts that says this is what what you discussed, and let me make some recommendations on that discussion.
They said, I mean,
And an
mine was
agenda.
like, this guy is perfect. This guy is a handsome patient that is in perfect health.
Someone's got to take a look at that.
Yeah, there's something wrong with this one.
There's
But
the,
it
there's
literally,
the bias.
we talked about it, and the next week it happened.
It's crazy.
It's moving so fast.
so fast.
And I mean, I was fine with it because I'm like, well, whatever. But what are the privacies on that? I mean, obviously it's a doctor-patient thing, so it has to be locked up. But what if, like, what is the company that owns that information? What are they doing with that information? Who has the rights to that information?
Right. Who has the rights to it? Basically, we also touched upon this. Your privacy's just about gone.
Privacy
our
is
privacy
not
is
a
just
priority for people.
it doesn't
not
seem
anymore.
convenience is a priority.
Yeah.
Convenience.
Convenience.
It's
is a
always been about
priority.
convenience.
Convenience.
And
I don't know what social media even is. What that's fulfilling. I don't know.
It's a convenience. It always leads to conveniences. How fast can we eat, consume, lose weight?
Yeah.
How fast can we look good?
Yeah.
Feel good?
Gotta get some work done.
Let me talk to my AI, see what I can eat for breakfast,
Yeah.
lunch.
I mean,
make some recommendations.
There's not a whole lot wrong with that.
I mean, people are going to have I guess they're making it right now. Robotics for relationships.
I mean, like sex robots.
Well,
My wife's tired tonight. Pull up
I
I got a headache. Oh, it's all right. I push a button.
well, I guess I have to go down that road. It's definitely going to happen. There are those that, hey, love, right?
They're already out there. I've
Love.
already seen them.
Love.
Not that I'm looking at
Everyone
them, but,
needs love, Justin.
Everyone needs love.
Everyone
There's a whole
needs-
movie on this thing.
Yeah.
It's called Her with Joaquin Phoenix.
You into filmmaking?
It's a great movie.
Oh, I just have to see it.
I don't want to give any spoilers away, but you should watch that movie. It's a good one.
Oh, no, okay. Thank you. But it's just making me think that, if you can purchase a robot and fall in love and the robot's telling you what you want to hear.
Again, I think it goes back to what makes us human.
That's all. Yeah, but then that's
what's our-
altering the state of how we conduct our behaviors every day. It's just changing, and then the perceptions, and then someone's going to believe that. You know what? My AI said this is how we should be. You're not being like my ginger AI at home or anything like that.
Right.
And that's what's a little messed up. The reality.
You have to be able to
perception-
regulate,
yeah,
because
perception
you have
'cause
that hallucination, the
right.
AI hallucination that you've given them this bias,
Right.
and what does that
But
mean?
will make you think of how you think too. You may think that this is correct, and maybe these are the steps you should take based on what this robot is telling you at home and about life and
is
all
it
that.
better for you, or
And then you're
it's based off of all of the information that is scanned from other humans' input. So,
Sure. I
mean,
understand
but
that.
I don't know if it's given it to you in the correct way.
Yeah,
it's just
it's
thinking,
only-
barn, that means cow, that means this. But it doesn't know that it's a farm.
It's
You
going
know
to have
what I
to be
mean?
rebooted then?
I don't know. It needs to figure out
downloaded
more.
soft. Here we go. Here's the money part. You'll buy, right?
You can buy the upgrade.
And then you the subscription.
Now you have a thinking AI.
Now you have a thinking AI, and you could buy the subscriptions to different types of themes, and then you can download those subscriptions into your whatever, your robotic AI machine, whatever it is that you're interfacing with, and it could create themes. You could say, listen, I want this theme this month to be all about cocktails.
Yeah.
And I want you to just speak to me in cocktail form. And it's like, can this possibly be? This is an altered world, is what I'm saying, Justin. This is for fun at some point. But when you step out on the sidewalk, that's not how the real world works.
Well, it kind of is now. I think that's the evolution of.
Well, we have to stop there. That's where I'm like, wait, let's stop that.
It's okay. So if you go to a movie and you watch 2001: Space Odyssey,
Great. Now so I'm watching my movie. Now I know it's a movie,
but it's
I'm
giving
about
you
to.
new ideas of how to perceive the world that you've never
Sure.
thought that an AI could take over.
The artist who scripted that and
Yeah.
put that on film,
Yeah.
right? They had this thought or whatever it may be. It's artistic, right? It's just another form of expansion of a thought. But
it's given you that expansion, so now your world has been
with a little bit
expanded.
of you have to create a little controversy. You have to create a little bit of a theme to create some moviegoers to create some money, right?
Yeah.
It can't be a boring topic of everyone's in love. There's got to be conflict somewhere, right? But the whole idea is that this is fantasy. The whole idea is I'm sitting there for 2 hours and I'm enjoying this video game or this movie or whatever it may be, and that's fine. But when I'm going to unplug and I'm going to get back to reality.
But I think you've been altered by that viewing. You can be altered by the viewing experience.
That's where I'm saying that's the problem, is where you you start to think that your real world is your altered world should be your real world. And then if we allow like governance to take AI governance to step in and start dictating and telling us, conduct your life this way or drive your car this way. It's safer this way.
Yeah.
Like you just mentioned before with the healthcare companies, we're going to charge, Justin, we're going to charge you because you just seem to like milkshakes a lot.
Yeah. You've had one too many old fashions.
You had one too many because we're tracking that. We're tracking that through your crypto.
Right.
Right.
So you're inadvertently becoming more
there is good in that, though.
like Big Brother kind of thing. There is good in it.
There is good in it.
You want people to be healthy.
Because I want to
make
flip on that
choices.
side of it, of the fence. There is good in it because do you want a healthy population?
Yes.
Right? I believe that most would want a healthy
Well-educated,
population.
healthy.
Well-educated, healthy, productive, of course, loving.
Right.
Very important.
Because we should be trying to expand
top of the pyramid, by the way.
consciousness, not shrink it.
Right.
So I think it could be used for that, for getting new ideas,
Yes.
for expanding, but it can't come up with new ideas, and that's sort of the limitation because it's not self-aware. It can only take what is seen. So we're always going to need humans to sort of have that consciousness that it understands that we're a living being in the world. AI only knows the information that we've given it. It doesn't know that it's a computer hooked up to all this stuff.
But isn't that how we are? We're born into this world, right? And aren't we gathering information through our environments?
Yes.
We're like an AI, right? No. Yes.
We are to a certain extent.
I guess algorithms, right? We're gathering our
Yes,
information.
and we're interpreting the data.
We're interpreting the data through our surroundings, what we learn in school, on and on and on and on, and we continue to learn.
But we're conscious about that.
But we're conscious about it, right?
We understand that we're alive in the world, and we understand that we have to make our own choices. The AI cannot do that at this point in time.
At this point in time.
It doesn't have a consciousness. It's not self-aware.
Right.
Thank
well,
God.
I heard at again, in the elementary level, I heard some of this, if you leave it on its own, these language models start to speak to each other. Is that my?
Yeah, but still, it's just correlation. It's not real. It's not real thinking.
It's
and
just
that's what's always going to separate us is that the voice inside your head that's always talking, making you think about this.
So-
I feel sad.
very
I
good
feel
point. I think-
happy. That
wonder if that's-
consciousness is what separates us from the robots because they're just making correlations. Like I said,
Right.
Barn, red, cow, tractor.
Yeah.
It's not saying, "Oh, this farm is beautiful," and I grew up on this farm. It makes me think of my childhood.
Well, it's about how much we allow it to evolve. I mean, if we're in 2025 speaking like this to guys just chatting away about AI, how it's stepping in our lives every day right now as we speak.
Yeah.
Imagine 25 years from now.
Yeah.
Where can we possibly
Where
be?
can we be?
Will all these robotics, will we be using them for safety reasons, to enhance our lives, to protect our lives, to keep us safe in the environment? For example, like you said, everything from firefighters to deep construction in ground, to sending someone down.
Oil
rigs, all of those types of jobs can be replaced in a robotic form and be very efficient. And the loss, if you lose a loved one, I lost a robot. Let me just quickly replace that. Done.
Maybe they're expensive, so it still hurts, but not in a way of losing.
A loss of life is beyond that. So again, I think that if they continue to advance, and then this is where
it's going to be a whole different culture in 25 years. The way that we operate within a society is going to be completely different.
And this,
we might not be trading time for money anymore. We might be trading time for something else.
I think so. Well, agriculture, I've been reading about farming. Now think about that, how we got started. 100, 150, couple hundred, and even thousands of years ago, importance of growing food.
Yeah.
They're saying that that's going to be a continuing growing market. Are we going to get back to farming our own food?
That'd be cool.
Right? I mean, I
Like
know
everyone's got their own little
yeah,
gardens.
like pods of little farms in their communities where everyone's contributing using AI enhancement to check to see if you're, for example, are your vegetables healthy? Are you eating the correct? Are you growing the correct one? Are what you need to add to your soil? All of these things are going to be expeditious, right there on the spot.
Yeah.
So
So like a probe in the soil.
just seriously, now that is unbelievable. That cuts a lot of time out.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that. Other than that, I would have to resort to some type of. In the olden days, I would have to call someone I know. Hey, do you know what you do when the soil is da 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 da? No. It'll just tell you right on the spot. So that'll enhance community in terms of farming, growth, agriculture, our food, better tasting food, farm. What do they call it?
Farm to table.
Farm to table. Which
Farm to
concept?
plate.
Right. Which we have that concept here, but that concept just being everywhere.
Right.
Right. Imagine it in the bigger
So
cities.
now we have time to take care of our own stuff. Is that what you're saying?
I think so.
That's kind of cool.
Because
I can see that as a fun. I mean, I think there'll be some level of difficulty at any level, but
I mean, you'll have
that's
to
a
be.
good idea. That's a good thought.
Listen, if you're in America, I guess it's an 8-hour workday. Okay, and now if you ask the tech gurus, no, 10 to 12 to 15 hours a day, 20 hours a day. Do you sleep? Do you sleep? You ask them, do you sleep at all? But the idea is that some of these people work around the clock.
Yeah.
Okay, imagine just getting up every day where you spend more of your time not being so productive in the workforce because AI has provided an environment where all of these enhancements already are being taken care of. But now you're taking care of yourself, your health, your communities, farming, right?
There's going to be a fight for resources because people will start living longer. There'll be more people. Well, hopefully more people, but.
They talk about populating, right? Depopulation, or where we are at in the United States and China, the birth rate.
Or in Japan, for example, it's the first time in however long that the population is decreasing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what they're claiming. Again, I mean, you have folks like Elon Musk who wants to populate with as much children as legion. I've heard he uses that phrase. But the idea is that he's not alone. There are a lot of legions out there, a lot of large families out there. It still exists. But the idea is
not many though.
Well, it depends. I don't want to go into heavy in those subjects, but it depends what part of the world. You know, families, bigger families, more children, da-da-da. It goes on and on, religious-based, such and such. But the idea is that if they're saying that there's not enough population, or birth rate is declining, are they going to use that as an excuse to put more robotics in place?
I don't know what they're going to do because this is either going to create even more. This is either going to create an incredible amount of poverty by wiping out the lower middle class of people that are having jobs that are paying decently, but now will be wiped out by robotics, truck drivers, teachers.
I just keep thinking about the idea that the population is reshifting or is going to be reshifting itself in the future in terms of your goals, your aspirations. How do you conduct yourselves? 100, 200 years ago, people were working, not even living past 30, 40, 50, whatever it is, because of the lack of health care and technology. And today now people are living longer on an average. What is it? The average age? Do you know it is 70-something, 76?
It's up there.
It's up there.
Close to 80.
I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of the folks that I grew up with admiring, and whether it's musicians, especially in the Hollywood, some of them in their 90s right now.
Clint Eastwood's still kicking.
He's still kicking.
He made a movie 2 years ago.
94 or 90-something. Warren Buffett, right? He just stepped down. He just said, enough of what I've been doing for such a long period of my life. But he's 94.
Which means the technology's there to keep people going.
Right. So again, prioritizing your time. Where is it going to be? Are we going to have better quality of food because there's more focus on it?
Yeah.
Look what they're doing right now in the Trump administration with the idea of trying to minimize the dyes in foods and take a look at the production and the processing and all the processing that we do in our foods. And they're trying to change that. At least that's what they're talking about. Now, will it succeed? We'll see. We'll see, but that will change as we go, and then people will prioritize what they're eating more, prioritize their time.
That shift has already begun,
Yeah,
10 years ago, and now it's starting to catch on in a big way, which I think is great.
Well, the single-family income household, then to the two-family, then to multifamily. I wonder if it's going to start to go now in reverse, where it doesn't have to require so much manpower because of technology and the enhancements of AI and the use of it to try to create. You can still create revenue, but in a third of the time in whatever you do.
Well, yes, that is the hopeful part of it, but what is the reality of it? I always feel like there's this utopia that we're all thinking it's going to be, but then we're not the ones controlling the machines. It could be that we have an even large. We can get into these oligarchy, these families of the Meta families or the Bezos families. They're just controlling these massive AI machines, and we're just scraping around in the mud looking for freaking something to eat.
Sure, I mean, you can look at
there's two extremes.
There's a lot of extremes to this.
But it's going to land in the middle.
There's a center, right? Yeah. That's what we hope for everything, right? A landing of the middle, which is the balance of scale, right? But that's the thing that I always say. Well, as you just pointed out. A lot of these innovations have made our lives think of the shopping.
It's a great time to be alive. Let's put it that way.
It really is. You look at all of the different...
especially in this country, anyway.
The conveniences. The idea you can shop online and have something at your doorstep.
You get a 4K and portable screen. I mean, growing up, that would have been amazing.
These smart tablets you're walking around with, and now you're going to be able to wear them and insert them or whatever they're thinking about them, or they can observe you and then tell you how to live your day and make those recommendations, and this is unbelievable.
I mean, once with quantum computing, I can imagine something like, you're driving through traffic, and suddenly the computer's like, if you end up taking this left, you might cause an accident because of the algorithm already pre-recognized. It's like a Minority Report, the precogs. There's so much information.
A reduction of error. Yeah. I've always just speaking with friends and family, reduction of error is a good thing. I always say if you can reduce your error in just about everything, it'll produce a better outcome or a quicker result. But the idea is that can you reduce that error on your own? And there is so much, I think there's a limitation to the amount of data that you've been exposed to, right? Where the AI is going to just tell you right away that you're headed down a road that there's been 100 and something accidents that have occurred if you're going more than 50 miles an hour on this. That's incredible technology that just reduces error.
Right.
It reduces error. A reduction of error where I say, okay, that's a safety mechanism. Now, will there be a fool that decides to go against the safety mechanisms? There's always a fool.
That's the human part of it.
That's the human part of it. But then they'll say, well, we can reduce that foolishness by implementing more AI technology to your life, reducing error, improving safety.
Now it's getting to a very gray, weird area.
Again, here we go. Again, I'm trying to be on the positive side. I'm looking at the positive side, and I hope that those.
Who's influencing it? Who's masterminding this?
Well,
perfect.
The masterminds.
So we don't want to say
who are the masterminds sitting behind.
And what does it mean? I guess it keeps going back to what does it mean to be human and what it like.
Well, even the masterminds are even thinking to themselves, "I can't believe what we've created here. This is unbelievable." That we and all of the things you can think. We're always fascinated. For example, the pyramids. We look at the pyramids, the Great Pyramids, and we're like, how did they build these? Thousands of years, probably everyone's, how did they build these? I've seen so many documentaries that say, how did they build these? And now they found that there's corridors inside of them or new.
Yeah.
It's like
the LiDAR thing.
In other words, does the discovery continue? Mm-hmm. And why are they there? What's the purpose? And they're aligned to the stars and they're doing this and they're doing that. Okay. What I'm saying is that these wonders, we're creating this new wonder.
Yeah.
And this is different. This is going to quickly. This is getting out of our hands.
This is definitely a leap forward.
This is a leap forward in civilization. And you and I, as you just said, we're living in great times. We're living like, wow.
Yeah.
Are we living in I always thought that the Jetsons when I was a kid watching that commercial.
It is a great time.
Not the commercial,
it's a good
the
time
cartoons.
to be. This age is great because we've seen the introduction of the home computer.
Yeah.
We've seen the iPhone, and now we're seeing AI. Like this is a great. I can imagine like generations before us, they went from like horse and carriage to trains to cars. This is the same kind of thing, but it's TV to internet to
and
AI. It's crazy.
Most likely they were fears that were created. Some.
Oh yeah.
At that time, some of the narrative mostly said what I'm just going to take a guess here and say that there was probably some fear mongering going on. There was probably some
the blacksmith was
this is a this is a good thing for and then who's collecting behind that statement
right,
because there's always money to be made behind these statements, whether good or bad. But again, these were all enhancements that have improved.
All right.
Wouldn't you agree?
They've all improved. Yeah. The horse. They just made us busier is the only problem.
Well, they made us busier, but I think
they made us more productive. They made us busier. Was it a simpler life back then before all this stuff? Probably.
Here, I'm going to end up.
Were we crazy?
I got a thought that we should think about as we continue this, okay?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Are we at a climax and at a change? And I think we're living in it.
Oh, we're definitely
We're definitely at a climax where you said, could we get any busier as human beings? And I think the answer is we have gotten as busy that we can possibly be in our full capacity, and now are about to stake a decline or start stepping down the busy ladder using AI. Hear me out.
Okay.
Using AI technologies in our everyday lives that takes our busyness away, or at least on some of the things that we spent a lot of time doing.
Or it's going to make us busier because now we can look into everything.
Busier? Oh, you mean what? In curiosity?
And complicated.
Well,
like you said, now everything that I possibly could eat, I can AI it. These carrots actually contain this, but these carrots contain that. So now you're even more busy because there's so many things you can look at.
Such a good point. Oh, you're right. We're just going to, Well, if you decide to take it that direction, how many opinions can you listen to?
It's weird that
how much can you take in?
Right. It's weird how obsessive all of this stuff is. Like this is like an obsession towards convenience or perfection.
It's always convenience.
Yeah,
it's always convenience. I think about when I was thinking about TV dinners the other day. You ever hear the TV dinners?
Love TV dinners. They used to be the
go-to, the little brownie and the little.
The night mom didn't want to cook, you get the TV dinners and you go watch the TV and.
Very exciting at night.
Very exciting.
Pull those TV dinners out right out of the microwave or the stove.
The little brownie is still kind of uncooked in the middle.
How unhealthy! How unhealthy!
Had corn in it, didn't it?
How unhealthy.
Yeah, disgusting.
But convenience.
Oh, yeah.
It was sold to us as convenience.
Yeah.
Gross. But now we're thinking, like you just said, the AI meal of the future. The perfect meal. Is it going to come in a small box? Is it going to be coming in a small pill and a cracker? Here's your full meal of the day. And this will give you enough calories. This will give you enough protein.
Exactly.
And is that the world we're headed?
Yeah, exactly. It could be. There's always the extremes, like we're saying.
I don't know. It's fun. It's fun to chat about this. AI fellas are here to stay, folks. We'll see you next week.
All right. Cut.